Curtis, we're going to be wasted on the plane, just so you know. We're going to be wasted on the plane. Absolutely wasted. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, guys. See you guys later. Oh, yes.
They opened up a little small track in Danville called the Dixie Speedway, and they wanted to get some black drivers, and they thought they didn't know who to approach, so they went to the police department to find out what black guys had speeding records, things like that. So they told them they want somebody to drive a race car to see me. So that's how I started racing.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is former NASCAR driver Bill Lester.
I'm NASCAR driver Natalie Decker.
NASCAR's Chief Hype Officer Mamba Smith.
And you're listening to Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane Vibes. Let's go.
376, Antron Brown is the top fuel champion.
About Rajat Fruit, he's never led the field to green on a start or a restart, Michael. What a moment for him right now. His 30th truck start came up from the Arkham Menard series. Just praying for it. There it is. Raja Karuth wins it at Las Vegas. First career win, gets it done.
You stayed in the game, and it was just one step, one punch, one round at a time. And my guys had me a great stop, and we just executed. So there's more to come for sure.
His final time through 3 and 4. He's gonna do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
What they gonna say now, baby? Let's go!
Championship record is equals. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
Get in there, Lewis. What a way to do it, mate. What a way to win your 7th world title.
All right, we have an order. Are we ready? Host?
We're waiting for you.
And
yo, let's do it.
Thank you.
It's already 9 o'clock. We done wasted an hour.
Let it.
Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. It's Carl and Art and Kiana and Bonte. We are post Talledega. Yeah, we post Talledega, yo. We made it. We alive. We here. Well, you know, first things first. Let's recap the weekend. We'll start with the Xfinity. Jesse Love proves his haters are wrong. Drives his Chevrolet like a Chevy Bolt. Saves enough gas to steal the win at Talledega for his first career victory. Xfinity Series. An RCR car rides again. Can I say that? Doesn't matter. My show. What y'all think of the Xfinity race?
Man, I'm just mad I made the love train pun at Atlanta and not here. I feel like I might have to
wasted time
in the rotation after this performance, right?
Was it really him or was it Riley Herbst?
I mean, I feel like Jesse Love had a really impressive last 2 laps. I think he was, blocking his tail off. So I'm not going to take anything away from him because as the Cup race showed, it can be pretty hard to make those blocks on the last lap when there's a lot of pressure on the line. So I give Jesse a lot of credit. I mean, I thought this race was pretty solid overall. There was a lot of calamity, as you would expect at a Talledega race. Allgaier smacked the hell out of the wall, tried to destroy it. And then I think the other highlight for me was just Parker Klingerman saying, like, Austin Hill, you will not pass. You will not win this race today. But then he got destroyed. So I was pulling for him to win. And then, he gets caught up in the craziness. But it was a really good race. As we will continue to say, we'll hit the button every week. Xfinity continues to deliver, the best race of the weekend. All in all, I felt like this was as good as an Xfinity race at Talledega in 2024 as you could hope. I'm continuing to like Jesse Love more and more. I think he might become my number 2 Xfinity car to root for. So for me, I was really happy to see that. Austin Hill didn't win, so that's all I could really hope for.
And I mean, Jesse, he dominated, honestly. Like, I mean, what was that lap? Let me go back to the NASCAR app. He took the lead on lap like 24, I think. And just kind of like, switching in and out from there. But I mean, for him to still be able to pull that out, like, I think he did great. And to be fighting someone like Austin Hill, who, obviously is pretty good at these types of tracks, I think he did great. So, yeah, that was great to watch. But I'm really bothered by Allgaier's hit because there's really no reason for that wall to be where it is and the angle that it's at. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I don't understand why that's there. Like, there's got to be a better way for them to, close off all of that and just keep it so that it's not sticking out towards the track. Like, that's so dangerous when you're coming off the track at that speed. So I'm just glad he's okay. But I think that was just really like crazy. But yeah, it was a good race. It was a very good race. And I was like busy trying to do stuff, and I was like watching it on my phone while I was doing stuff. I was like, dang, this is pretty good. So I had to go back and watch the replay. But yeah, I thought it was great. Also, did y'all see the part where Jeffrey Earnhardt was like driving down the pedestrian path when he got taken off?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I was just like,
that was so confusing to me. I was like, bro, you can't drive there.
That is, yeah, but I was like,
I was like, you can't park there, you can't drive there. What are you doing?
That's screwed around on NASCAR heat level, like of just. I was like, bro, how in the world?
Yeah, I don't understand why it's like, did he make a wrong turn? Like, I mean, he couldn't turn back at that point because it's fenced on both sides. So you're just seeing they had this really long, awkward camera shot of him driving down the. I don't know. That was weird. That kind of cracked me up.
Lost.
he looked real lost. Also, congrats to Ryan Sieg. I'm bummed that he couldn't get up closer to the front and everything happened, but he was flying in stage 2. And then in stage 3 till he got that flat tire. But he won Dash for Cash, so hey.
Which what a sentence that is.
Right?
Yeah, like he won the Dash for Cash.
From 17th place. So like
We've come a long way from the no bull. We've fallen pretty far.
Yeah. Well, that is, and I said last week too. I was just like, because the things have just been around forever, man. They used to have like a 3 or 4 truck team that was all starting parks, just whatever. So to go from that to being in the conversation for wins 2 weeks in a row is pretty cool. So
totally,
yeah. I'll go next. So. As per usual, I mean, I was trying to go home from work, but I watched part of it. I mean, it was they seemed pretty well behaved. I know last year kind of the general theme was they couldn't stop wrecking at the plate races. Austin Hill, those RCR cars are just they figured something out. I mean, in this day and age, but the fact that Parker was like, yeah, we're not doing this. Austin, ended up on the back of a record as a result. And then there was kind of some fallout on Twitter because of it with Landon Cassidy as the intermediary, which I was just like, it's a little crazy. But, yeah, I mean, Xfinity was Xfinity. It was cool to see Jesse Love win. I was really pulling for the Alpha Prime guys like Ron Ellis, Brennan Poole, like all those guys are right there at the end. And unfortunately, it just didn't get lined up and things didn't work out right. And, a lot of people were bummed about that finish, and I was too, because it is frustrating to watch, but it's also just like, a lot of guys that haven't been in that position before, a lot of guys don't know, and everybody's trying to go for themselves and think like maybe they'll be the one to get the run to do it in X, Y, and Z. But I don't know. There's just no stopping RCR to play tracks. They've got something figured out. But besides that, I'm glad Justin Allgaier was okay. I was a little bummed for I didn't forget that little girl name, Deegan.
Haley Deegan
is going to come away with a pretty good finish and just got shuffled out there for whatever dumb reason. But real quick, I do have some numbers I want to put out there real quick here because I'm not doing spilled milk, but So I'm gonna just put these numbers out here just for a second. So we got 77, okay, 76, all right, and 79. Now, any guesses as what those three numbers mean?
My golf score.
Yeah, probably. No. So those first two numbers are the numbers of starts. Now, granted, it is Cup to Xfinity, but still, are the numbers of starts guys like Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott had before their first win. 79 is where Sheldon Creed is at right now. I'm a little tired of the Creed slander. Moreover, I'm just really annoyed with the attitude that because a guy is not immediately winning, that somehow that he sucks.
Thank you.
NASCAR, and I kind of got heated in the group chat earlier because we had the same conversation about John Hunter. It is all very situational, and just because a guy has not won in a certain situation doesn't mean he's incapable of it, or he's mid, or he sucks, or whatever the case may be. Like, because it's just like with Larson. Like I think about that a lot. How until he got in the 5, he was good for maybe one win a year. Maybe not even that. You know what I mean? Like, he was hot and cold. And so until he, Sheldon's, and he might be there now when he can start firing off wins, I just think it's really unfair just to say, like, oh, Jesse Love won in the 2 car at a plate track, mind you. And therefore Sheldon Creed sucks. He doesn't belong in Xfinity. He doesn't belong in GRX lines. It's like, man, come on. There are way worse people that could be in that Gibbs car or an RCR car. One of which, who was it? Was it Blaine Perkins? Who was it last like 2 years ago that missed the show in an RCR car? Y'all know who I'm talking about because he's done races for RCR and Gibbs, and anyway, it don't matter. But yeah, like so that just really just chapped my ass a little bit because I was just like, it is what it is, man. Like there's no need to write anybody off, but it was cool to see Love win, and SVG. I felt like him and Josh Williams really had a shot at it at the end, and it didn't pan out for them, which that sucks.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Man, my heart really goes out to Josh this year, man. Just like with Landon, it's just like the driver part of it is there. It's just the luck has to be there, and it's just so rough seeing him like so many times this year coming in a situation where you're like, okay, maybe something's good is going to happen, and then it's like, why would anything good ever happen? So I don't know. I mean, their baby is happy and healthy. I guess that's all that matters. But anyway, that was my take on the Xfinity race.
Devontae.
I just got off work. We'll just check up see what's going on. Check up a little bit. You can see saw Jesse Love in the lead and stuff, like for like majority of the race. He got the win. Happy for him. Sour taste in my mouth towards the end. I kind of wanted Hayley Deans to get a good finish, possibly a top 5, but Riley said, "Nah, you good. Stay in 11. You be all right." But like, come on, man, just never mind. But Xfinity is Xfinity. It was way more chill than last year's Dega race. What the flips, but yeah, that's cool. It's a cool race.
Yeah, shout out Braden, guest of the show. He something he tweeted yesterday that Jesse Love side drafted Pool once and put 2 car links on. 2 car links on them. These RCR cars are disgusting.
Visibly,
really are.
Visibly faster. They had the overhead shot, bro. I'm looking at on my phone. I pulled off. I'm on the drive home, bro. They get the final restart. I pull off at the exit. I'm on the side of the road on my phone looking at this. And from the helicopter shot, there's a visible speed difference. Some cars are nasty, man. I don't know what they got going on. But because like I straight up like I like until I went home and watched like the highlights, I for real thought that like maybe people were running out, so they were like half throttle or something like that. Like they weren't going for it. And it was just like, no, they were just that much slower in comparison to the 2 and the 21. So
that was wild.
Cheated up.
Boy, well,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I know before we move on, we got to give, I know we're going to give a lot of credit to the car, and especially as we should because of RCR's reputation in Xfinity here. But like I'm looking at Jesse Love's stats right now. For a rookie, his average start is 6.7. His average finish is 9th. Like I know we're only 9 races into his career, but that's pretty dang fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not saying at all that Jesse Love isn't him or anything like that. Like you had some guys that are hot immediately. You had some guys that it takes them a while to warm up. Justin Allgaier wasn't always Justin Allgaier. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you know, like it was. Before we move on before we go to Cup though, shout out friends of the show, Brad Perez and Jay Lopez. They work over at APR with Alpha Prime. They put a lot of energy into that deal, and I really wanted that to work out for them. But I mean, the top 10 weekend is great. I'm happy for those guys, and I hope that they get another opportunity at it. You know, hope Brad gets
that was really about to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, anything and everything could have happened yesterday, and I wouldn't have cared if Alpha Prime would have won on Saturday. Right. So anyway, yeah.
Well, with that, we move on to our coverage of the commercially filled Throttle Chase 500, presented by Geico.
Oh man,
that's an A+ segue.
There's gonna be. I'm gonna sound off in a second when we get to that part, but I can't understand for the life of me. It's 5 laps to go into a stage,
and you go.
Not only do you go to commercial, you go to full screen commercial.
Right.
I am so thankful.
Honestly, I wish I recorded the timeline refreshing itself when they did that, because it was like I was just watching the tweets flooded. It was like 200 of them at the same time.
I was so
saying the
pissed
same
off.
thing. I was cackling.
I was at
home. I was at a dinner. Yeah. And I missed the almost all the Cup race, and I did miss it, and I was just randomly checking Twitter throughout, and like I open it and everybody is like all caps, like, "Are you serious with these commercials?" And I'm like, "Man, it was really messed up."
One was me. I was on a bus on the way home from work. Right? Obviously it was 5 laps to go on stage 2, and then that happened. I'm like, "Are you serious right now, Fox? Really?"
Yes, they are.
So I don't know if this is NASCAR's ploy to get more ticket sales to get us out in front of the TVs to the track.
I really feel like that's what it is.
You gotta fix this if you want to see me back, dog. You gotta fix this.
I mean, it's like Twitch, like they have the ad breaks. And if you subscribe, then
that drives me crazy.
It feels like we're getting.
Just to bring back a point from an episode last year, NASCAR. If you want my money. If you want me to pay for flag to flag coverage, tell me how much.
Yeah,
I'll subscribe right now.
Sure, 100%.
I will pay for it right now. F1 TV $80. NASCAR, they didn't get that kind of money. Make you $39.99. I'm here. I'm with you.
Even $50. Yeah, I mean,
right, even $50. Like I'm here.
Hulu Live is almost $100. I break y'all off at 70, man. Like I said, if we could bring back,
you don't even need commentators. Yeah. Let me do it.
For real,
I'll do it.
When y'all go to commercial, there's no commentary. Just play the silence, the audio. I don't care, man.
It's crazy that NASCAR's main market, like 98% of its market's in America, and the international streams, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah,
like
that's when they go.
There's there's 25 people in England that are just chilling every Sunday because that's exactly what they get.
If you want to give me graphics, use the NASCAR Classics ones. Do that. Actually, make an app. Put NASCAR Classics in the app and bundle it with the live coverage every week. I'll pay $50.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Because
I feel like it might be coming with all these changes. They're probably trying to get through that first before they go too hard on anything else.
They lay on that. They should have been got that done years ago.
Yeah, I hope so. Because I'll be at work through the week. And, I watch a little TV before I go to bed. And it's just like the NASCAR Classics site on mobile is so cumbersome. I'm like, man, the hell with it.
Yeah, they really need a mobile.
Even an app for the Roku. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I want
a TV app. I really want a TV app so I can watch it on big screen. Because, that's really what it's meant to be watched on. It's not really meant to be watched on a small
boomers are not interested in going to an entirely separate website and sitting in front of their computers and watching a race.
Boomer.
No,
I know I'm not.
Load it on my
tablet
and stream it to the TV.
He ain't wrong though.
But that's who, there's a lot of boomers out there that are watching it, and that's who they need to, boomers know how to work the Roku. That's all I'm saying. They don't know how to
You're not wrong.
Yeah, they know how to work the Roku.
So to get us back on track,
I'm sorry.
Austin Cindric wins stage 1, Joey Logano wins stage 2, Tyler Reddick, 2311 Toyota, gets their first super speedway next gen win, to the pleasure and dismay of people. I can't lob it any better than that. So go ahead and go, Art. You look like you want to go first. Go ahead and go.
Now, why do you set me up like this? It's
you
me,
know
your own
exactly
people.
Yo.
You'd be all right.
I will say to start with, this is a race for me where the winner helped the medicine go down a little bit easier, but this race was not good for a lot of it. It's really bad, and I know this isn't like breaking news to people, but this next gen car is really bad. I saw a lot of people in the media and on Twitter saying that, oh, well, I'd rather have us ride around 3 wide with 3 trains running at parallel speeds versus freight training. And I would make the argument that when they are basically the same, when they are riding around in fuel saving mode, there's no risk of anything happening because you can't get ahead. Like, it's just not possible. So like, it's visually interesting, and I've come to the conclusion, this is going to spiral a bit, but I've come to the conclusion that, and I'm going to pivot back on this later on, but I've come to the conclusion that NASCAR has this concept that I'm calling the picture concept. So like, if I take a picture of the race and I see 38 cars, 3 wide, it looks great. Like, that looks great on social media. That looks great in a boardroom, whatever. But as soon as you hit play on that picture, it's boring. It's riding around. But they don't care about that. They just want it to look entertaining to new eyes. I really hate the argument that these are the only 2 choices, that you can only have 3 trains going against each other or 1 single freight train. I had tweeted something about, I guess we're just going to ride around. And someone, I can't remember who you are, and this is not shade at all, but they were like, oh yeah, they have to go in fuel save mode. That's just how super speedways are. And I'm like, no, this isn't what it has to be. Like, we've had better, and I'm doing my very best not to be like a curmudgeon who just comes on the show and fusses at NASCAR every week and like old man shouts at clouds. But like, in my lifetime as an adult, we've had better in terms of product at super speeds. I'll only stick to super speedways this week. So it's frustrating to me that I think a certain level of the audience is becoming conditioned to accept this as the norm and to accept that this is okay. And, I saw a couple people say, well, if we're grading on a curve for the next gen car, this was our best super speedway race. I would argue that we all deserve better than grading on that curve. I think this curve is crap, and I think this curve is allowing the kid who got a 17 on his test to pass the class with a D-. Like, that's how bad the curve is at this point. It's just really, really frustrating to see. I mean, there was some entertaining moments. I'm not going to act like this was a snoozer, but every week I watch this race. I watch NASCAR with the same group of people at home. And this week they were on their phones the entire race outside of the last 5 laps. And there were several times where they were saying, this is really boring. They were audibly saying, this is boring. When is something going to happen? They're just riding around. No one's passing. And these are your casual fans. These are not people that are the diehards in the Twitter trenches like we are. Like, these are the eyes that you want, though, who like want to go to a race. I guarantee you they're not trying to book any flights to Dega anytime soon. And yeah, you can make the argument about Dega being a big event. It's its own thing, but this is not a good product. And I'll circle back to NASCAR leadership later on the show because I want everyone else to get time, but it's just really bad. I hate having to come out here and try to find creative ways to say it's really bad other than it's just boring. The best moment of the race, like we alluded to earlier, was the Chris Buescher pass and he went to commercial. Like, what are we doing? Like, I sat about my chair when that happened. I was like, oh my gosh, Chris Buescher, like, good on you, my guy. The guts to make that move. And I think it was Haley or someone, I forget who followed him through, but like that's a great moment. And if you're watching on TV, now you immediately get ads. And like that dovetails into the Fox, which is a whole nother issue that we've talked about before. But like, this is your product, guys. And again, this was not a good product. And I will give them credit. The drivers made it back around. Like, this wasn't a wreck fest. This wasn't an embarrassment in terms of wrecking. And we've had races like that. Of course, they wreck coming to the line because of McDowell and Brad K. Like, those are two terrorists. We know what they do late at super speedways. Like, we knew, you know, black helicopter level activities were bound to occur with those two up front. And like, it's fine, but like, I'm fine with that. Like, if that's what it takes to get us home, like, that's fine. And I'm happy Tyler got the win. Like, he, you know, scooted. He said, let me squeeze right by you real quick to Brad K and got the dub, which I'm happy for. But it's just really bad product. And I really feel bad for like fans who I've only gotten to racing in the last 4 years. And that's not coming from like a snarky, like, I'm better than you attitude, or like, you don't know what real racing is. You know, back in my day, Dale Sr. and Richard Petty, those were real drivers, whatever. Like, not that at all. But like, you are not getting your money's worth week in and week out. And I legit 100%. Feel bad for those people. Like, I turned on NASCAR Classics today. We were talking about it just now. And I just picked a Talledega race. And it ended up being like, I think it was the Fall 07 race. Now, did that race have every lap be 3x3? No. Did it have some freight training in it? Absolutely. But I guarantee you, if you go watch that race, you cannot sit there with a straight face and tell me that that is not miles away better than Sundays, like miles away better. And I'm not going to accept the fact that just because there are fewer household names in the field, that those folks don't know how to drive. Like, those are all talented drivers in the field. Right. Like, Kyle Busch is out here cussing out this car on Twitter.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if Kyle is complaining about this, like, okay, look.
Right, like
this is, if you know this car is bad, if Kyle said his car is bad, then you got a problem.
It's bad,
right? Yeah, and like like I said, I'll talk about, because I have my own rant saved for later about NASCAR leadership. But I just want to say, like, yeah, like, if you know this car is bad, like, you have to just acknowledge. All it takes to say we're working to improve the car. That's all you got to say. Like, I would shut up if you said we're working behind the scenes to improve it. Like, we're gonna do something. But they won't even give you that. Like, they won't give you the bare minimum. And I'm just like, is this how little like leadership and like the Fox producers, I'm not going to say Fox as a whole, but like the producers behind the show, like, is this how little you think of the of like your fans? Like, I would be really insulted if you thought like the product that you've watched this season is the best they could possibly give you. And like, if I'm going to spend my time and my money and go to races and buy diecasts and buy shirts and like do all the things that you want fans to do, you know, check in on the app or whatever, you got to do better than that. Like, if you made Talledega boring, you've gone so far off the reservation. Like, you needed to immediately put up the flare. Like, you've ruined Martinsville, you've ruined Talledega. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you went back and told, you know, 15-year-old me, oh, hey, Talledega's gonna be boring, you're gonna go to sleep. Like, the people around you are taking naps during the middle of the race at Talledega, I would have said you're insane. Like, you're absolutely insane. It's the best track on the schedule. What are you talking about? Super speedway racing. But that's where we are now. So yeah, I did not like this race at all. I liked the moments, the little blips of greatness that I was able to watch when people were actually able to compete. I did like the strategy calls. I liked seeing the Toyota strategy try to work until it didn't, and it was a clusterfuck and awful. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the last 5 laps when they actually tried, and they could try. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know how you can say like this race as a whole was good. You can say you're happy, and I always say it's about with Jeff Gluck's poll. Like, you can be happy about the winner of the race, but that doesn't make it a good race, right? Like, if I'm happy that, who was it, Jeff Burton, or who was it who led like every lap at New Hampshire and won?
Jeff Burton in 99.
Yeah, like, you can be happy if you're a Jeff Burton fan that he won that race, but you can't tell me that's a good race because one guy led it wire to wire because nobody could pass him. And so I keep waiting. I keep waiting for the day that I have a Sunday that is as good as I want it to be, as I hope for it to be. and not just for me selfishly, but for everyone who watches this, because there's a lot of other things people could be doing with their time. Like, I think there's a bit of an assumption that the fans are obligated to be there and they're always going to stick around, and we can just half-ass it and they'll still come back and give us their time and money. And like, brother, that's not the case. That's not how the world works. So I'm happy for Tyler, happy for 23XI. Absolutely. I don't know how he survived that carnage to steal a win. Happy to see MJ in victory lane. That was dope. I think that's really cool. But other than that, it ain't me for me, dog. I'm not feeling it at all.
Bonte.
He's speechless.
My fault. I put my chart on. Yeah. No, but this was not good. This was not good. I don't know. Like, I could watch this race now, and I compare this race from 2016. 2016 was like way more passes. Now you just stuck. Like, what are we doing, NASCAR? The only good thing was the 5 laps to go. That was good racing towards the end. Cole LaJoy flipped, which I didn't know until based on replay. But it's super speed racing just haven't been the same at this point, because majority of the drivers and manufacturer obviously that work together and stuff. Like, what's the point? What's the point of this? Happy that very, 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 very happy that Tyler Reddick got the win. Unless 34 car, respectfully. But happy for Tyler's team, 45 team. Mike and MJ to see him in victory lane. Excuse me, for the first time. So that was amazing. But yeah, I give this race like a 60 out of 10 because it sucked.
Carl.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, a friend of the show, shout out to my buddy Rick from work. I call him Ricky Bobby. And he's an avid listener. And Ricky's a great guy, man. He really is. He likes everybody on the show. So anyway, he texted me yesterday and he was like, what happened in the race? What happened, Bubba? He wanted to know. I said, Tyler Reddick won apparently. I said, I guess Bubba was in some crash toward the end. That's been heavily politicized now. Not politicized, but that's anyway. That's coming up later. But and he said it best, and he's encapsulated all of my emotions for this year so far. And he replied to me and he said, "That's big time NASCAR for you." And I was just like, "Yeah, you're right, man. Look, we have the same conversation seemingly week in and week out, and it's like I said last week. At some point, something's got to give, right? I want to do spilled milk on Pete Pistone, who I respect much. I love Pete Pistone, but he had kind of this thread and about, kind of saying we're all wrong about the practice aspect and things like that. And it's a continuing trend of people that are inside the sport trying to, I guess, play down the fact that NASCAR not only has made a wrong turn with this package, but they've made a U-turn. And I had some other rando in my mentions arguing how like they've had more lead changes and passes and X, Y, and Z, like I said, with this car than they have other ones. And I even watched the Cup race today, and at some point, Mike Joy has said, that we've had 300 passes for the lead this year, and we've only had it happen 3 other times. And like, well, yeah, that'll happen when you've got three plate races in the first 6 races of the year, But yeah, at some point, NASCAR has to admit they're wrong. And as far as the Pete Pistone thing goes, look, these people can say whatever they want to say, but if the drivers are saying we need more practice, we can't. These cars are hard to drive, they're not good to drive, and here's how you fix it. Listen to the drivers because they're the end user in this product. So if they know how to fix your problem, what are we doing here exactly? You know what I mean? Right. It's insanely over-engineered. We should not. look, I'm not saying there has not ever been a fuel saving plate race in the 20 something odd years I've watched NASCAR. That simply is not true. Arthur mentioned the 07 Talledega race, the spring race that year turned into a fuel race. And so like that's fine, but when it's to this point now that it is, you can almost say manufactured, man, and it's just like I don't know how you look at this and you say like, okay, this is fine, everything's fine, you know, because you got a good finish out of it. And Art, you're entirely correct. You know, photo aesthetics racing is exactly what this is. You know, because every week it's like, you know, they post, you know, videos. Texas last week or at Martinsville, weeks prior, where like the cars were going by the wall and they were loud and fast. Like, yeah, we love fast cars. Well, then take the damn plate off of it. You know, we love three wide racing. Well, then make it so where either the stages are short enough or long enough or whatever that they don't have to worry about fuel mileage or do away with it or something, man. Like practice what you preach. You know, so that's all I gotta say about that. As far as the finish goes, very happy for Tyler Reddick. Happy anytime 2311 can succeed. You know, very happy for everybody involved in that program. Everybody from, you know, the crew chiefs to the truck drivers to the shop guys that make that product, you know, that make that team operate. And it's so cool to see Michael Jordan in victory lane. I mean, that image has been shared in multiple places around the sports world. And I think that's so important for the sport. And so it's important when guys like Bubba and Tyler can succeed because they really are helping push the sport out into other areas and markets. I don't know what McDowell was doing, but I know that I would have done the same thing. As a matter of fact, I did do the same thing last night in the Xfinity race. So I get it. I get it. It was a little different, but I get it. You know, I mean, like I said, yeah, you know, like I said, it is what it is, man. It's to be expected. And I would have, you know, if McDowell got out of that car and he said, or Brad Keselowski or whoever, and said, well, I could have tried to go for it, but then, you know, I would have wrecked. I'd rather finish second. I'd have been a little peeved, you know, because it's just like, I don't know. It is what it is, you know, like I said, but I really wish Brad could have got it. And I know I'm saying that, and we talk about 2311. We love 2311. That team's existence is part of what created this podcast. But, you know, I do want to see Brad able to get one before Justin Haley gets in that car in the next couple of years. So that was – and I hate Brad Keselowski, so I don't know what's going on with me. But, yeah, so like I said, beside that, you know, 6 out of 10 race, I guess. Just kind of a bummer ending to it all there. So, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
I mean, at this point, it's not even that I like – I don't know. I've got it. Like, I feel like I'm at the point where I just don't even dislike the drivers because I'm so disappointed in the car's performance. Like, I feel bad for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad that they can't race how they want to race. And like Kyle's tweet just like broke my heart last night. Cause you can tell that he's just kind of fed up. And I feel like it's gonna get to a point where he's just gonna start laying people out. And I kind of need that to happen. Because I feel like maybe some other drivers will jump in and join him, but it kind of almost, you know, it feels like they're all waiting for someone to just like drop the first shoe and then they're all going to just, you know, flood through the gate. But something's got to happen because, I mean, it's so clear that there's something wrong. And then it almost feels like we're being like, you know, it feels like gaslighting at this point. Like, oh no, like you're all wrong. This is not what's happening. But and I'm like, no, like the drivers are literally saying there's something wrong. Why are we trying to like pretend that there's nothing wrong? Like they're saying it very clearly in interviews, like on TV, really. And you know, everyone's trying to act like there's nothing wrong. And I just feel like, you know, it's almost like this talk track that everybody has to try to convince us that no, really. I mean, it feels like script, it feels like that like call center talk track. And I'm just like, you know, it may work on a few people, but for those of us who really see what's going on, like that's not working. And it's really almost insulting at this point because, you know, as much as I love the sport and I love watching races, watching on TV is like unbearable. Like I want to just like, 100%. You know, like it's I wish I could go to Dover and just watch in person because I'm dreading watching it on TV. And that's sad. I mean, yeah, okay, it's great to go in person when you can, but like, I mean, I've already been to 3 race weekends and still have at least like 3 or 4 more coming up. And it's like, I just it's annoying that we have to keep having these conversations and no one wants to just acknowledge fault and be like, "Hey, okay, we're going to take the feedback and fix it." Like, why is that so hard to admit? And so I feel bad for literally every driver at this point, because you can tell that they just want to get out there and race how they know that they should be racing, and they're not getting that. And I know that's got to be frustrating in the car. If it's frustrating just for us to watch it every week, I know it's frustrating for them in the car. So yeah, I mean, it's just something's got to be done. But yeah, I mean, it's it's a pain to watch, but it's nice to see them go for it when they can. BJ had his little one shining moment out in front. That was great.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
that was amazing. And it's just that's what it almost saves the day for me, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, God, like we're still gonna get 90 laps of like nothing because nobody can pass, nobody can it's just it's frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. But aside from that, it was great to see the team in victory lane, and I'm so happy for Tyler, because I know his confidence was kind of like it didn't feel the best, the first few races, because he was having bad luck. So I'm hoping, kind of like what I've said, I think I said that like last couple weeks, like I wanted to see Tyler get his mojo back, and I feel like we're finally getting back to that point. So that's great. But yeah, it's sad that we can't, we get all this happening, and it's still just a bummer that we're not getting the race that we know we could get. Like, that's really what it comes down to. So, yeah, there's got to be some more discussions, and I'm hoping someone will finally just, take ownership of the issue and try to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they'll probably apply some updates over this off season. I would imagine it's probably come to a head, because it's like you have everybody now, drivers and everybody talking about it. And one thing, that you mentioned about it, like being a script, is like, it's very obvious that Fox's production team's direction is to try to find like the plus sides of this car and try to like sell people on the fact that like we're witnessing something great. And every so often, like Kevin's like, well, actually, it's not that wonderful, and because it's just like, what's the old saying? Don't feed me molasses and tell me it's gravy, or whatever the case may be. It's just like, man, look, we all know that it's there, and again, and like the other thing too that I saw, and then I'll stop after this, is it's caused some revisionism, because there are people that were not watching like pre-2019, right? 2019, 550, small motor, big blade, that trans over to 2020, 2021. We have the 750 package, but it's not everywhere. 2018, big motor, small blade, good racing for the most part. Like I said, at that and prior, I mean, and so it's causing revisionism, which people are like, wow, actually the Gen 6 wasn't that great. And I'm like, no, you have no idea, how good it actually can be. Like I said, so I don't know, but yeah, something's got to change. Like I said, we try not to be negative every week on here, but it's just like, I mean, what can you say really? You know what I mean? So
yeah, and like I would much rather I'd rather come on here for however many weeks and be honest and negative than like fluff it up and be like, oh yeah, that was great because a driver I liked won, and
Yeah.
I would really, challenge isn't the word, but I would encourage anyone who's listening, like if you haven't followed racing for more than, let's say, 4 years, 5 years, like Carl said, like that 2019-ish era, I really would encourage them to go back and like NASCAR Classics. I'll say it again, it's free out there, right?
Yep.
Go on there on the Monday after a race or the Sunday night after a race. Go pick the same track, assuming it's up there, and find a race from like 1990 to like 2008, 2010, somewhere in that range, and pick a race just from that track. And I said this last week that I wasn't going to blame the tracks anytime soon. And thank God I said that, because now the next week it's my favorite track, and it's a sleeper. It's a snoozer.
I think we'll be okay next week. I think it'll be the intermediate package. I think it'll be okay.
No, I'm talking about for Dega though. I'm saying with Dega being like,
right. Yeah.
And like one other thing I'll say quickly, or maybe not quickly, but like, I listened to Dale Jr.'s podcast earlier in the week or last week now, and there was somebody on there. I can't remember who it was now. I'm glad I can't remember, because I don't want to like send people towards this dude, because this isn't hate. This is just an opinion though. But there's some dude who's like an exec or someone in leadership at NASCAR. And the main topic of discussion was practice. And the quote that he basically said was that, we talked to all of the stakeholders, and, the data says that the product is as good as it's ever been. And the eye test says that the product is as good as it's ever been. And right before Sunday's race, NASCAR Twitter posted, of course, the famous Dale Sr. run for his last win at Daytona. I said, yeah, the product is as good as it's ever been. Like,
yeah,
if you're going to sit there, and I understand, like, you have to spin it. Like, I've worked in PR. Like, I understand. I'm not expecting NASCAR to come be like, yeah, this sucks, and like, it's awful, and like, it's all bad, and we suck. Like, I don't expect that, but I don't need you can spin it without lying to me. And like, if you're going to sit there and boldface tell me that like the prize good it's ever been, that's where, again, 3 freight trains riding beside each other doesn't make a good race. A great picture doesn't make a good race. And the reason I started to come to that analogy was, if you'll think back to Richmond, there was some graphic they showed and they were really proud about, where it was like 36 cars were within 3 seconds of each other or something like that, like late in Richmond. And it's like, that's not good. Like, that means everyone is riding around at the same speed.
So.
And like, there's just been a lot of cases, to your point, with Pete, there's just been a lot of cases of NASCAR kind of showing their ass this week, I feel like, in various places, and basically telling you like, yeah, we're going to tell you what we're going to do and you're going to like it. And I feel like, again, at a certain point, even your most devoted fans will walk away, because they will not take being that's one thing someone will do, is not take being disrespected to. Like Pete saying that, 2020 was the best year because there was no practice. Like, stop it. Like, and the idea that like every single thing comes back to cost. We're cutting costs. On the Dale episode, they said it wasn't a cost thing. So what's the truth? Either you did it for cost or it's not a cost thing. Well, either way, like, don't sit there and tell me about cutting costs when you just signed a 7-year deal with CW. Like, don't sit there and tell me that like you don't have the money, when all I hear is about all these record deals and ratings and this and that and the third and sponsors. Like, I don't think that NASCAR is sitting out there with a can rattling, outside the cardboard box asking for spare change like Squidward. Like, I refuse to believe like that's the case. And, I just look at this sport and like, they are last in terms of fan amenities, in terms of going to see your event. And the reason I bring that up is because of the damn scoring pylon now that I hear. And like, that's like a topic that, to me, it's, in a vacuum, it's probably not a big deal, but in a big picture, it's, to me, a problem, because it kind of, again, goes back to this idea of, we're going to continue to take away from you, the fan, and we're not going to give you a suitable replacement. Can you imagine going to an NFL game and they're like, oh, we don't have a Jumbotron, but you can watch it on your phone? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And I understand the logic of like, oh, they said that, oh, the parts don't exist anymore. Then make a new one.
They make there's high schools in Texas going every week that are the size of Walmarts, that have football stadiums that have scoreboards. You can't tell me those same companies don't make parts for a scoring pylon,
Like, the idea that I have to now go to an event, a sporting event, and I have to rely on public Wi-Fi at a sporting event, which is notoriously bad, and I have to bring my own phone to do the scoring for the event. If if an NFL team tried to say that, they get laughed out of the league. The league would revoke ownership of that team and be like, you don't get to play anymore. And I just feel like this just continues to ignore, the things that the audience need. Like, these are basic necessities to going to a sporting event, and to continue to gaslight its audience into believing it's better. What did Denny say? Oh yeah, we want them to pay a ticket to watch on their phone. Like, what are we doing here? And so I worry, I continue to worry, and we'll continue to ring the alarm. Like this, there's a storm cloud off in the distance, and NASCAR just seems to be like, oh yeah, we'll play, under this tree with a kite while there's a lightning off in the distance. Like, I don't think the sport will ever get back to like 08 level or 09 level with like the recession of downfall, but like, you have all this momentum from Netflix and these big media deals, and you've got drivers that are entertaining. You've got Bubba, you've got Blaney, you've got Chase Elliott's got a huge fan base, and you're just kind of pissing it all away and talking about saving money. Well, someone's making money, so figure out who that person is, and it's probably NASCAR at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that and somehow in pursuit of new fans, they're taking away accessibility, and it's just like, because the sport's more complicated to explain now than it has been, and so it's just like, again, I mean, what is the end goal here? And like I said, also, I mean, yeah, I've got to wonder, hey, how worried is NASCAR about their image and about what's being said about them? Because again, when you have people that are constantly in your sport, the stars of your sport, that are disagreeing with what's going on, and you have guys like Denny Hamlin saying that teams are spending way more than need to on tires, and then you turn around and you say, well, practice costs too much money, but you have drivers that are saying, if we could practice, we wouldn't have these issues in the race, like in things like that. So it's just like, how are you guys from a PR standpoint not worried about this? Because, I mean, it looks like, it's very much a situation of, until morale improves, the beatings will continue. Right. I mean, that literally is what it feels like. So
yeah,
in any case,
I mean, we had, and I'm sure he can say it's out of context, but you had Joey Logano going out there saying our fans are spoiled. Nah, I tell you what, buddy, there's no athlete in any other sport going around saying the fans are spoiled. They're the ones putting you up in that big old house in the hills in Charlotte, wherever you live. Like,
yeah, he does have a nice house.
I bet he does. I'm sure he does. You know what? God bless him. He earned it. But like, I just feel like there's this attitude of like, everyone's gonna always be there. Like our diehard fans are gonna be there, and like, we're just gonna make new fans. But again, because we've got social media, and because we're very flashy and all of this. And I am serious, and like I vent about this on the show because it comes from a place of legit concern about the long-term health of the sport. Like, 100%. I'm worried about the trajectory of NASCAR the next 5, 8, 10 years, because I don't want to see it become a niche thing that 100,000 people watch every week, and that's it. Like, I don't want that at all. I want it to be the best form of motorsports in the world. I know, shout out to chicanery girls. I know they probably hate hearing that, but like, that's what I want it to be. I want it to be, a US only thing. I want it to be the biggest motorsports in the world. And yet they just consistently continue to step on their own toes. So yeah. I really hope they get it fixed.
So before we move forward, I just want to put a prayer out there for Eric Jones. Hope he's feeling better. I saw the in-car camera footage of that wreck earlier, and it was not good. He was audibly yelling that he doesn't feel like he's okay. So I did recently see that he got sent home. Haven't seen an update as far as I can tell from NASCAR, the team. So prayers and thoughts with you. Thankful that NASCAR did at least try to do something right with this Gen 7 car and make it safer, because God knows what would have happened to him if he still had a car like Alex Bowman and Kurt Busch had when they had that wreck. So hopefully he's resting, he's getting better, and hopefully we don't have to see a sub driver in the 43 this weekend. I just want to put that out there before we changed segments.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, this next one leads right into it.
Well, Carl.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is the first time in the show's history that we have a video component that we're going to put out on the socials and things like that. Is everybody here? I know Kiana said she's stepping away for a second.
No, she's here.
You're good.
Okay, all right. Well, I saw the chat. Okay, never mind. I'm not looking at the right chat. So anyway, let's give a little bit of context. So I saw the wreck yesterday. I was bummed about it, and I left it at that. Well, today, as things would happen, I hop on social this morning, and every social I'm on, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, these people are vehemently they are wanting Bubba Wallace drawn and quartered over the Eric Jones incident yesterday because they feel like that was just malice and X, Y, and Z. And as much as we all love NASCAR and the show, part of this show's birth was out of being fans of 2311, out of being fans of Bubba Wallace, and obviously the last 4 years have been situations where the whole story isn't portrayed or just whatever. So in any case, I got bored and I put together this, and unlike last week, I know how to share my screen this time the right way, so we don't have to worry about that. Boom. So we put together a little. We put together a little slideshow.
Lord.
Now there is some video components, and obviously, if you're listening, you can't see the slides unless you go watch it. Which please go check wherever we post this. I don't know where we're gonna post it to, but the slideshow is called "Go to Hell, You Damn Bastard, for Making Me Make This." An explanation of a crash from the perspective of a guy that's crashed often, presented by our partners at Home Field. The Little 500 collection is on its way out. You guys make sure you check them out. Quality shirts. Go buy some shirts. All right. So first slide. Let's see if this works. It didn't work. All right. Hold on. I just changed screens. I got two monitors.
You're good.
You got it. All right. So why the hell am I doing this? Well, very simple. The haters are talking reckless. They don't know Wheel. I also don't know Wheel. I listened to 12 hours of Well, There's Your Problem. Shout out Roz. If you guys need a fourth, we can negotiate a contract swap. I'm in free agency always. So,
oh my God.
So yeah, all right. So what the hell happened? What the hell happened? All right, so the 43 got junked, the 23 got junked, the 42 got junked, the 11 somehow got junked. Toyota suffers its worst humiliation since August 7, 1945. I have been watching way too much Oppenheimer. So if you didn't watch the race, or you don't know, or you live under a rock, what had happened up to this point was that the Toyotas pitted separately and together, and they came out together in line, and were going to blow by the lead pack because the lead pack was considerably slower. They go down into turn 3. All hell breaks loose. We're going to break down exactly what happened and whose fault this wreck really is. Also, yeah, like I said, prayers up for Eric Jones. I know he was treated and released, but we haven't heard anything else, and we certainly hope he's okay. We want him to be okay. All right, so moments before an apparent attempted manslaughter, you guys see the line here. At the back of the line, we got young Ty Gibbs with that new mustache. Loving that. This looks to be these are captured stills of a video, so bear with me. This looks to be Denny Hamlin in front of him, Martin Truex in front of him, and then we get to the key players here. All right, so 4 through 1 we have John Hunter Nemechek, Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones, and Tyler Reddick. Now, my question to you guys is this: who has the hardest job in this line right now? Who do you think?
The leader.
The leader.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Kiana?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So
actually, I'm gonna say, can I revote? I'm gonna say number 2.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
So,
I was gonna say the leader, yes, but also number 2 because that's the first one that's having to push somebody. So it's like they fuck up, everybody's gonna be gone. So
right. So give me just 1 second. Art, note that for me. Turn something for me. So just through again, and we've talked about this on the show before. Sim data is only 1/10 of racing knowledge, but it gives you a very good idea of like what it's like. So if you guessed Eric, that's correct. So the reality of it is this, right? You've got a line of single cars, which single line racing at a plate track, especially when you're by yourselves, is hard because there's nowhere to escape to, right? You're stuck with those guys. And when you're the second car in line, you're having to, number one, make sure that you're staying hooked with the leader, right? You guys cannot get detached. You can't, file them out or anything like that. But number two, you've also got to manage all the energy behind you. And so if you get disconnected from the cars that are behind you or the one that's in front of you, all hell can tend to break loose, as we're going to see here in just a second. So it's really important that second car is able to, like I said, kind of keep those cars behind him attached, and also make sure he's not too far away from the car that's leading. Because in this line, the 45 is the slowest car right now. So here's the start of it all, and I got some arrows here. So you can see positions 1 through 4, and there's some arrows, and it's not good for the 45. It's not good for the 43. It's not good for the 23, and it's not good, but some reason it's in red for the 42. And when I made this, I don't know. I pressed a key, and it was the text was red, and I was like, all right, I'm not changing this. So what's going on here and why this is a problem? So I could not capture this on video to show it, but there is a bump going into 3 that the cars do kind of jump over a little bit, especially with these cars and the way the underbody is. The worst thing that can happen, and if you're going down a straightaway and you get misaligned, that's okay because you're going in one direction. When you're going into a corner and you're misaligned, you have a problem there because now you're trying to furiously get back to the center of that guy's bumper. Well, if the guy in front of you or behind you is also misaligned, they're doing the same thing. So now you've got cars in a line going in much different directions at a very high rate of speed. There's no communication. I don't know what to do. You can only hope that they know what's best and what's gonna happen there. So next slide here. Here's the middle of it all before all hell broke loose. As above, so below. I don't know what that means. I just thought it was fitting there. I thought it was funny. I thought, whatever. But there's some key things happening here all at once. As I said, if you're not square, the problem, the immediate impulse in your brain is to get back square. Yep. Because you're going to get that guy to go around. I mean, something's going to happen to that guy. So, and I didn't put this in a slide or anything, but the real problem when I went back and watched this, and I'm not placing blame, the real issue was that the 45 had a gap to the 43. And, I have to watch my hands here. Well, it doesn't matter. And so what's happening there is the 45 has a gap to the 43. And so the 45 can move quicker than the 43 can move, right? So what happens, they go over the bump, the 45 is able to ride over the bump, and he gets the yellow line. The 43 is not so lucky. The 23 and the 42 also are not so lucky. You can see in this image on the left here that they all kind of rode up a little bit. And because they weren't really connected, it just made the situation really bad. And Eric, from the onboard, it looks like he got loose going over that bump, and you can see the cars kind of yawed out a little bit. That wasn't from a push. Yeah. But like I said, I mean, you can tell from this image on the right here, if you can see it. Of these the 4 cars in the picture, including the 19, somebody's about to eat shit in a big way. There's no coming back from this, especially in this car. So you can only hope what's going to happen. So let's see what's on the next slide, because I forgot what I put in these. Oh yeah, so an attempt was made. So unfortunately, I did the videos out of order. But what I want to show in these videos is that on the first one is that, like I said, Eric and the 45 get disconnected. Eric is trying to get back down to the 45. The car is loose. He tries to come back up, and the 23 is there, and he gets hooked. So that's the first video, and I have to play them out of order. So let's see if I can do that.
You're all tight.
Yeah, and so you see right there, if I can bring it back a little bit, I can't slow this down, but well, anyway, the audio's there. Like I said, that minute hesitation where the car was pointed down and back up, that was him getting loose, or whatever the result of that may have been, and couldn't recover it. Car came back up. 23 is on the right side of his bumper, went straight on. I didn't put the rest of that clip in there because that audio is horrifying, and I'm glad that Eric was able to walk away and do the interview, and I hope, like I said, like he's okay. The reason I said an attempt was made was because, I post this picture on Twitter, is that Bubba, and I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal or say he's how good he is or X, Y, and Z, but Bubba, immediately realizing the 43 is in trouble, tried to jump out of it to give Eric a chance to just come up, because the worst thing that could have happened had Bubba had the room to give him is that the 43 would have shot up the track and just been on their outside and fallen to the back of that line. Unfortunately, when you've got somebody just pushing you, you're getting, like I said, just the hardest back shots imaginable.
Oh my God!
Oh
my God!
Back shots with consequences.
Unfortunately,
doubling down.
Unfortunately, that was a funny joke. In the group chat earlier, somebody made that joke.
My God!
But so this other video is the onboard of John Hunter, and you'll notice, and you can also, you can't really, you'll tell in the audio, but you'll notice if you watch the video component to the listener that the 23 goes from cruising along to just almost a dead stop in front of the 42. And why is that? Because the 23 is off the power, the 42 is not. The 42 has no idea what's going on. So I'm going to play that clip real quick. Right there. It's like he just slammed on the brakes. And again, Bubba was doing everything that he could. Like I said. So again, and I have a picture that I posted on Twitter. I'll retweet it from the pod account. But literally, this was just a racing deal there. And like I said, every attempt was made. And unfortunately, it's the end of the race. Guys are in this line. They think, man, I'm going to win X, Y, and Z. And it did not pan out. I think I got one more slide here. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, I got to click through it. Shut up. All right. So, group discussion time. So who do you guys, now that we know this information, you can break into groups and discuss. Who do you think is
42?
Oh my!
John Hunter Nemechek. You are not your pappy.
42. Mr. JHN.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give you guys my answer. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Can I go, please?
Yeah,
I'm going to
please.
say 80-20. 20 Eric, 80 John Hunter.
Okay. All right. I got you. So let me give you guys my answer and then we'll discuss. So who is actually at fault? I had to put the video there.
What in the
Oh,
too
Lord.
much. Too much. Not the credits.
I ain't nobody.
Not the credits. Oh God.
Hey, so quick little insert. I didn't realize that I didn't say who I blamed for the wreck, who I didn't had on the reveal that we all laughed at for the listener. So the reveal was that I blamed Corey LaJoie. So the joke was that Corey LaJoie, who had nothing to do with the wreck, caused the wreck I just spent 15 minutes describing. Because the joke is that even though it's nonsensical because I don't like him, I blamed him. I hope this helps. Thank you for listening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Okay, that was worth it.
Yeah.
That was worth the payoff.
Can't make this up. That is
That was
fantastic.
terrible, but that was worth
That's
it.
awesome. That is
So, yeah. So I wanted to put that in to be a little lighthearted. But in reality, it was just a racing deal. It was just a freak accident. I don't think that could communicate the information to the 23 or the 42 in time to have changed anything. I think the real issue was halfway down the backstretch, the 45 had a gap, and that's not Tyler's fault. That's not the spotter's fault. I mean, that's just something that nobody thought about in that moment. But there was a gap there. And when that gap forms, like I said, that car that's out front can obviously move quicker because the car behind has to read those movements. And there's a delay there. And so that trying to change lanes, going over the bump, X, Y, and Z caused all that to happen. And, it was just a racing deal. And it's very unfortunate. But in no way, shape, or form or fashion was that the fault of the 23. And that's why I put that together, because people are very stupid. And I hope this video, I hope if a hater comes across this video, it makes them feel very stupid. So anyway, that's all I got.
Well,
so
that leads. Well,
I was just gonna say, I assume we'll have this posted on the Twitter somewhere.
Well,
This video component.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I actually, you know what? I will put this up on the Twitter tonight.
That's what I'm saying. So by the time you're listening to this, if you go on the Twitter, I'm sure you'll see it.
Yeah, the whole thing is there. Yes, correct.
Which is a great segue to 2311 corner. As previously stated, Tyler Reddick gets the dub for the 2311 team. Obviously, the pinnacle of Toyota racing development. Obviously, I wanted to. It's special. For them. I've been at a racetrack with Mike. I've seen Mike in the tower. I've seen Mike walk away disappointed. But for them to win the way they did, without Monster on the car, with him on the car, his logo, his name, his iconic cement print. It's just different. Y'all know I'm a sneaker person, so it means a lot to me that, when I see Tyler posted on social or the car posted on social, it's sneaker websites. It's not racing affiliated social media accounts. It's all the sneaker people that I follow, tagging Jordan, tagging 2311. Like, oh, this is fire. This is hot. Growing the brand, growing the sport.
Yep.
Fox, that's why you got to get your together, because we get in different areas from different people to do it. Shout out Magic Johnson. Gave a shout out to Michael Jordan, saying, congratulations on the win. LeVar Scott, reading Rainbow. Michael Jordan, congratulations on the win. Obviously we're pro 2311. We like both drivers. It's empowering. Michael Jordan is the majority team owner. That's his team. I don't care if it's 50.1%. That's Michael Jordan's team.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was a big deal when Recky Stenhouse won, and Brad got to celebrate. It's a big deal when Chris Buescher went on that tear he went on last year. LeBron James is minor order and the Fenway Group, which is minor order and RFK. So it's a big deal when the unsung heroes of the sport are African Americans. Michael Jordan, a billionaire, won yesterday, and he doubled down in his interview with Jamie Little, saying, "I'm invested. I'm here. It's my time. It's my team.
Yep,
we going for more." And y'all better pray that don't mean what I think it does, because if you think this is just your first helping of 2311 in Victory Lane this year, you got another thing coming. And do not be surprised if those SHR charters come up on, the sales lot, on the sale plot, on the auctioneer's block. That Michael Jordan ain't taking that Charlotte Hornets money, and he gonna see why he built such a big building that is called Airspeed. So, with all the things they have going on in the shop and all the rollouts they're getting ready to do, you're gonna get tired of hearing us praise 2311, whether that's about Tyler or it's about Bubba, because this is the first win to get the monkey off the back. Everybody did a really great job yesterday. Bubba's crew, Tyler's crew, the Toyota strategy was flawless, and the dominoes dominoed, and we see how it would happen. But still happy that the right Toyota team won. It was 2311, and Tyler Reddick gets his first win of the playoffs. Well, not the playoffs. He gets the first win of the season, locking himself in the playoffs. Foreshadowing. But yeah, it's going to be another both car post season this year. And to everybody, to Carl's point, that was blaming everything on Bubba, we celebrated last week the points that Bubba got, the buffer that he built in preparation of the turn of events like yesterday had. He's 11 points. He's still above the cut line.
And just to jump back just a little bit, or talking 2311 thing, and I'll let somebody else go. But I wouldn't have come to his defense if he was in the wrong. I came to his defense because people were very loudly saying that we are in the wrong or whatever, and I knew that if the roles were reversed, like if the 23 was the one that got wrecked, like they would have somehow made it his fault that he got wrecked, right? If like the 9 or the 5 or the 24 in that situation, and they were in the middle of a breakaway like that and turned somebody, like they would have been like, well, what are you gonna do? It's a racing thing, and that's just why I brought that up. I mean, because there is a lot of bias against him and people that just wrongly, feel like he doesn't belong there next Y and Z. Also, to everybody that is listening or watched, I don't really think Corey LaJoy caused the wreck. I just don't like Corey LaJoy. So I don't want anybody saying like what is he talking about?
Stand on it.
It was a joke. But no, I mean, yeah, but not. I mean, look, when they announced the forming of that team, everybody thought it was a joke. They're like, Michael's going to want his money out. NASCAR is a losing proposition. He's going to be an absentee owner. X, Y, and Z. What has Denny Hamlin done to this guy? And it's been the inverse. They've had success every year. They've been an organization. They've had some pitfalls. We've talked about it. They've had, some great talent come through those doors with Bubba, with Kurt Busch, unfortunately, and with how that panned out, and with Reddick now, and there was some news today about a charter coming on the market. The 47 might not be around next year. Ricky Stenhouse might be driving for Guangdong Motorsports next year, which prayers have been answered, but. Hey, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they don't get that charter up and they bring up somebody like Heim. So they built a new facility, and also if you listen, like Steve Letta has done a lot of conversations on Kelly Earnhardt's podcast about the racing business, and like they exist in a much different space and are changing the way that landscape of that business looks, from things like sponsorship packages to merchandise. We saw the conversation with Lionel. I mean, just so many things. And so it's like, very proud when moments like these come together, when Michael MJ is in victory lane, when the Jordan brand, who I would never have thought would be associated with NASCAR the way that they are. Like I was blown away in 2013 when Denny Hamlin had a truck sponsorship with KBM with the Jordan brand. So, yeah, I mean, it was crummy that, it couldn't have been a 1-2. The potential is definitely there for it to be a 1-2. I hate that the 23 had bad luck, but I love that Tyler won. I'm happy that he won, and they got the monkey off the back. And like I said, they can kind of go into the year a little bit differently there. So and the 23 I think got stage points at some point. So the day wasn't a whole loss. Did he not? I thought he finished stage 1 and 10th.
No,
11.
11.
Yeah.
Really?
He was in 11
at one point.
Okay, well, the graphic I was looking at said 10th, but I may have not been paying attention. But anyway, from just watching the replay today, I mean, he was at the front for a good chunk of the day. So again, it's like, how can you sit there with a straight face and say like, oh, he's a weapon when the guy's with the lead for the most part of the day? I mean, like I said, knew what to do and just got caught up by bad luck at the end. But anyway, so that's my spit on the 23-11 segment.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this was, in the big picture, I think we'll look back on this as maybe the second most important win in team history, right? I think the first one is always the most important, right? Because that's the one that gets you started. That's the shot in the arm that gives you as an organization the confidence that you can win, right? You think you can win, but it's another thing to go out and execute it. But I think for MJ to be there, and to Jared's point, to have his own logo on there, I think that is going to be the absolute rocket fuel that they didn't need, but they already have now. Because if we know one thing about Michael Jordan, is that he is addicted to winning. If there's nothing else you know about this man, you should know that he is addicted to winning. And you saw, I'm hopefully we can add it in the show, but there's some audio of him celebrating afterwards. And I mean, if you just played the audio by himself, you would have thought it was after a big playoff game, a championship win or something like that. Like, it's that same level of passion that you hear in his playing days. So I just think it's such a monumental win for them. And to get in the fashion they did, coming at the line, you're 500 yards from the finish, you sneak by and you're able to get it. It's just such a huge win for the team. And like I said, having Jordan Brand on it and having that logo get to victory lane again is just so huge. I think for the future of the team. So you couldn't ask for much more, outside of to Carl's point, the Toyota calamity. But we said in the show weeks ago that I had no doubt Tyler was going to make the playoffs. Like, I had zero doubt. I'm not worried about him at all. I know he's going to get a win. Now, did I think he's going to get a win at Dega? Probably not. That isn't really his strongest suit. Like, I think he's won there before in Xfinity, I want to say. But for him to get that win, and lock himself in, just takes that pressure off him. He can just go trophy hunting, as they say, for the rest of the season. So yeah, it's a great win for them. And we've been saying that this team has been putting in strong performances all year of both cars. It's just a matter of putting a full 100% of a race together, from driver to adjustments to pit road execution. And, they were in the right place at the right time, and they got it done. So I'm really happy for them. And I want to see the momentum keep going for both cars. I really want Bubba to get a win before the playoffs, just to lock himself in, not have to deal with that pressure, being in a cutoff race, trying to point his way in. My heart just doesn't need that. The team's heart doesn't need that. So if they can really just lock in one of these dubs, maybe, a Darlington win would be the cherry on top for me. One of my favorite tracks. So if he could get a win there, that'd be great. But honestly, I'll take it wherever you can get it at this point. I don't care how it comes. Rain, lightning, sure. 37 cars blow up and he's riding around for an hour by himself. Like, I don't care what it takes, like, for him to get it. But yeah, it's a great win for the team, and I'm happy for him. And like, I think Kiana's point, Tyler, it seemed like his confidence was a little shaken maybe earlier in the season, just because they weren't getting the finishes they want. So I'm sure this puts him, right back to 100 in that regard. So I'm happy for that for him.
Yeah, and I think really what people, again, like I was saying last week, I pretty much predicted that something was coming because I could see the improvements. And I think that people get so wrapped up in wins and, oh, they haven't won, they're going to be terrible, blah, blah, blah. There are plenty of people who are out there racing great and have not won. So, like, I need people to just kind of let that go.
Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba. And there's plenty of others out there who have done, they're doing great. They haven't won a race. Okay, whatever. But you can only have one winner per race. It's not like it's going to happen for everybody. So, it's just, I feel like people just get so hyper focused on the wrong stuff. And that's why they end up disappointing themselves instead of actually taking it, and breaking it down to just like incremental levels and looking at all the different elements of the team, especially compared to this time last year when they were basically in hell. I mean, Bubba said in an interview, one of the interviews in the media center, he's like, yeah, we're doing so much better compared to this time last year. And I'm like, if you don't hear like the the optimism in his voice versus how he sounded last year at this time, like, there's such a huge improvement. And I feel like people are just completely missing that. And it's unfortunate because they really are doing great. Yeah, they've had some stuff mess up, but they are not going to be 100% perfect, and neither is any other team on that grid. And we've pretty much seen examples of that in every single race this season so far. So, I just need people to be more realistic about progress and realizing that they're in a brand new car. This is a learning year for, all of Toyota, all of Ford. Like, there's so much that they have to, figure out again, really, after they had already figured out stuff with the old car. Now they got to figure it out with this car. And, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, you just got to give it time. And I feel like we're already seeing the results of that and what they're trying to do. And it's good that Tyler won. Because now they can be a little bit more experimental with him. And that's probably going to inform some strategies for later in the season, in the playoffs. Like, that's going to be awesome for him. And so, don't be surprised if you see him getting a little spicy, because he's probably going to be trying some stuff out and, pushing the limits on stuff. And that's okay. But that's really how you have to learn, especially if we have a lack of practice. A lot of this stuff is just going to have to happen on the track, and people will just have to get over that. So, yeah, I'm so happy for Tyler, happy for the team. Also have to give a shout out to, of course, this will surprise nobody, the Space for All launch. I feel like that kind of didn't get as much attention as it should have, for how awesome it is. They had Dr. Cyan Proctor there. Also my hometown astronaut, Leela Melvin. And it's really cool to see, not only black astronauts with a black driver on, a black owned team. Like that's in itself is just kind of crazy. It's so awesome, that we have this team and they have these partnerships. Leidos has been awesome to Bubba, and to 23XI in general. And so, stuff like this is really important for visibility of the sport. So, having, a Jordan car in victory lane, and then we have, astronauts showing up to support Bubba. Like, it's so cool to see everything that they're doing right now. Cause how many other teams have astronauts coming to visit them? Like, let's be serious. Like that's huge. And with everything coming up, with Artemis 2 coming up next year, I'm sure Bubba's probably going to have some even cooler stuff next year. I can't wait to see, what they come up with that, because Leidos is directly involved in the Artemis program for the lunar missions. So that's going to be really cool. So yeah, there's so many cool things that 23XI has going on. And, I really want people to appreciate what we're getting right now, even though it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Like, they are really doing some awesome stuff on and off the track. So, just shout out to everyone involved in all of this, because I just feel like we as fans get to really benefit from some really cool partnerships and sponsor activations and stuff. So yeah, I think it was a great weekend for them. And I really hope this, kind of jumpstarts everyone's confidence again. And I really think that there are good things coming. I just need people to be patient and, give the team their space, but also still support them, because they need that. And I think we as fans, have to remember our place as fans. And also, people just get a little too crazy with it sometimes and forget that they're just fans. And we're here to support the team, and I really just want people to kind of refocus on that and not be so involved that you think you're like a business manager. Like it's just, we need to support the team. We got to support the guys, support the team, because they need it. And people saw 23XI as underdogs coming into all this, and look where they are now. So I just want people to remember where we started from versus where we are now with this team. I think is amazing. And this is still just the beginning. So, I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the season. And I do think Bubba has some wins coming. So buckle up.
Fonte, you got anything to add?
Just like what Kiana said, what Bubba said 365 days ago, that was not doing well. This year they're doing fantastic. I remember I said something. I said something in a group chat saying a year ago Bubba was like 22nd in the standings. A year later, right now, he's 11 in the standings. This is like Bubba, like already. It's already been a really good year for him. Yes, I know the crash yesterday it is what it is. It happens. We reground, we move on. But I'm proud of him. Like, we 11 in the standings, and we continue, and he continued to be very consistent right this season. Proud of him for that. Like I said, really happy for Talledega to get that dub at Talledega. Stole one. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Definitely an important year for 2011 racing, because Jordan was there to see victory lane in person though, so that was awesome. But there is no need to be concerned for Bubba. He's fine. He's 11 in standings. He's good. He's gonna be all right this season. He's doing fantastic right now. I just think people need to chill a little bit. We fine. We are good.
And with that, let's go to Lights Too Bright.
No, get those lights off.
Kirby,
Off.
We're going to be wasted on the plane.
They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready? Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we already know what's yours.
Who? I'm not gonna give mine yet. I'm gonna let you think about it.
I already know.
I'm gonna let you marinate on it.
It's Christopher Bell.
Dang.
Nah.
That's kind of presumptuous of you to assume Christopher Bell deserves any airtime this week.
Right.
Nah. But
who said he was worthy of being mentioned?
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Where's the Toyota solidarity? My God.
No. I was gonna get to that because
lost it on lap 100. What was it?
The lights too bright goes to Toyota and John Hunter Nemechek too. But Toyota mostly.
Okay.
John Hunter as well, because I don't know what the hell he was doing, bro, but you gotta get better, man, because that shit was unacceptable. But shut up, Carl. But
he does need to stop responding to people on Instagram. No, I think he should just
that too. I'm like, that was no
reason.
reason
Left that alone.
Yeah,
that's just feeding the trolls at this point.
Right, like chill, bro.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I get it. I get it. I mean, I get it, man. You're like I said, you're back in the Cup Series, high profile, a lot of money on the table, like I said, and then that happens, and you kind of just want to lash out at folks and just be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Bubba has had those moments too, so I get it. But anyway,
all right.
I'm gonna go a bit off the beaten path with a race we actually haven't talked about yet. I'm gonna go with the drivers that finished, I think it's 2nd through 5th in the ARCA race, because they all chose to ride around like this was a I don't even know what you want to call it, an exhibition, I guess. Like it was just open track time. No sense of urgency. Now, I, with my 0 competitive racing starts, know that you need to line up and push to pass someone at Talledega, and they just chose to take the crabs in a bucket mentality, and they didn't even come close to passing the leader for the win. So, I know these are young drivers who don't have a lot of track time yet, but you got to at least make an attempt at it. They're coming into the tri-oval and they're going side by side and swerving around beside each other. That was just a poor showing, we'll say, from the ARCA folks for that section of the race. So they're going to get my lights too bright. I'll leave the juicy ones to my co-host this week.
Co-host
Carl.
man. God, you know what? There's a lot to choose from.
There are many moments.
Yeah, there are many moments. Man, it's got to be Riley Herbst to me.
Solid pick.
Yeah, I mean, because between him and who's that dumb son of a bitch in the 5? Dean Thompson? No, that wasn't Dean Thompson.
Hey,
it wasn't Dean Thompson. Whoever was in the 5.
It wasn't. It was Pasta. Chill.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll roll it back to Herbst, man, because it's like, look, I understand, nobody that was leading the Xfinity race that ever won before. Have some class, act like you've been there before. If anything, you could have pushed your teammate out in front of Jesse Love, used her as the pick, and went on to win or something like that. I think, like I said, of all the people that really fumbled the bag at that finish, Herbst was up there with it. And so that was pretty annoying to see that, like I said. And I'm indifferent on Deegan, but it would have been really cool had that situation worked out like it was looking there for a second. So it's got to be my lights too bright.
My lights too bright goes to Michael McDowell. There was proof and writing on the wall how to not block at Talledega and coming to the checkered flag. Our own Bubba Wallace succumbed to that fate last year, blocking Ryan Blaney, and everybody thought they were going to be in fisticuffs after the race. You threw one too many, my boy, and you caused a chaotic, massive wreck. Corey LaJoy looked like he in cars riding the wall and did a complete barrel roll on top of Noah Gragson. It's crazy.
He wasn't even part of the wreck. Corey was just out.
Not Noah Gragson. It was Josh Berry. It was the other Overstock car. That was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, Corey wasn't even part of the wreck. He was just out riding around and somehow ended up on the side.
Troy LaJoy finished better than Michael McDowell on his roof. So that also proves further why you get this week's Lights Too Bright Lover Boy.
You know, man, I get it. You know, it's whatever. I mean, I understand, but it's just like, you know, if you finish second, at least the team can bring the car home in one piece. You know, like I said, and you can say you had a top 5. You wreck trying to go for the win. You say, well, I tried to go for the win, but you got a return up race car. These things cost a lot of money. Although I do know that Bob Jenkins got a lot of money, so he'd be all right. You know, but yeah, so I can see that.
I got one more. My Lights Too
Well-
Bright is Carl.
For what?
Oh,
I'm joking.
Oh,
Friendly fire turned on.
No, I lied. My Lights Too Bright this week.
We get to move furniture in here, buddy.
oh my God. Anyway,
I was cut off.
mine goes to Pasta. Because he was actually doing great in that race, and that last little move where he just pulled out trying to do whatever, and you could hear in Blaney's voice like how disappointed he was in the booth.
Yeah.
Like I cracked up laughing because you could tell they were just like, "Oh, this is gonna be cinema." And as soon as he pulled out a line, Blaney was like, "Oh, come on!" I lost it. I had to go back and rewind it, and like I missed the ending at first because I just had to go back and rewind to hear him say that, because the timing of it, he's just like, "Oh, come on." And you knew immediately, he's like, why did he just do that? And everybody on Twitter was doing the same thing. And it was just like, bro, just go. Why did you just stay there and push? Like, go. You trying to pull out a line and no. Oh my God, that was dumb. So yeah, that was an embarrassment. And you got drivers in the booth like exhaling disappointedly because you did that. Like, that's horrible. But yeah. That was a terrible move. It was really disappointing. But yeah, I was really disappointed with the Haley situation too, because she just needed someone to commit and
help me.
Yeah, and I'm
Kevin
like,
Hart
what?
meme. Help
Yeah.
me.
I mean, that's such a bummer. And like, I feel like I have to defend her just, as a woman. I see how people talk about her. I don't like how people talk about her. I don't like how they talk about Natalie, how they talk about Tony. I mean, it's just people get this thing, and it kind of goes back to the
Especially
whole
Tony.
and I mean, it goes back to how they talk about, oh, well, so-and-so doesn't have wins and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but if they're constantly caught up in other people's crap, like there's only so much they can do. I mean, she does what she can, and she was doing great yesterday, and then she just got left to rot pretty much.
Hung out
in
to
the
dry,
back.
yeah.
And it was messed up, and that's what I'm saying. Like, like you can't get mad when people don't finish well when you have situations like that, because I mean, she did everything she could, and still, it just didn't work out for her. But it was, a bummer. So I'm not going to fault her for that. And I'm not going to judge her for, not having a win yet, whatever. Like, she's still in the beginning of her career. How dare these people talk about, oh, well, she's not going to do great, blah, blah, blah. How many of these people have been in Xfinity for multiple years and haven't done really anything noteworthy? And how long has she been here? Okay. Like, don't give me that. I'm so tired of seeing that every week and seeing all this, dogpiling on Haley for, whatever existing pretty much.
Mhm.
Like, y'all got to cut that. Like, that's a Lights Too Bright in itself. Like, I'm over seeing it. And again, as a woman, like, it's just really frustrating to keep seeing that.
Yeah.
Because if more women are going to enter the sport and they keep getting treated that way, all that does is move everything backwards. So
I've tried to be a bit more accepting of the Deegan thing. I think the truck booth just made it a little bit insufferable at sometimes. But
yeah.
I will say on that topic, man, there was some discourse earlier in the week when Decker announced that she was going to be at Talledega, but the sponsor pulled out. And a lot of you wide back, no bath taking son of a bitches took to Twitter and said, "Oh, it must have been OnlyFans." Look, man, that's you a weirdo. That's weirdo behavior. And I know y'all the type of dudes that anytime you texting a girl you like and you like, what are you doing? And they like laying down and you say some stuff like, without me.
Without me.
It's lame, bro. Y'all are lame as hell. Y'all are so buggy. And no, for real, because it pisses me off so bad. Every time these female drivers just don't have a good day, you dumb bastards are like, oh, I guess you better do OnlyFans, blah, blah. And y'all be the same ones tricking off $40, $50 a month on OnlyFans. So man, make it make sense to me, bro. Y'all that's some weirdo behavior for real. It makes no sense to me. And I saw it, I was like, come on, man, for real.
And I'm like extra protective of her now because
and then there was that one late model this week that was racing somewhere that made it around Twitter that was a sponsor on the QP. I'm like as a joke. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
like
it's whack. And that's why I'm glad she's going to F1 in Miami. She's going to have an awesome time. Red Bull and Wawa, got her a special trip. So in their faces.
Because again, like if that was your girlfriend, your wife, your sister, your mother, you would feel some way about somebody saying that about them, man. Like women are allowed to exist in male dominated spaces and not be boiled down to like, how can I make this about sex? Like, bro, shut up. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. That just awakened something in me because
it needed to be said.
When I saw that people immediately made that jump, I think it was under like either she tweeted it or Parker retweeted it.
She tweeted
people immediately made that jump, and I was like, bro, come on, man, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
nasty bastards.
Yeah.
Open mic time.
Be right.
Or did you give your lights to break?
I said the ARCA 2 through 5 in ARCA.
Shout out Jack Finch.
Open mic time.
Yeah.
This might be. I'm trying not to soliloquy this every episode, but Fox, you have the risk of single-handedly ruining the momentum NASCAR's gained, paying Netflix all the money they did for the full speed.
Terrible.
I have never seen so many close-up shots unnecessarily in the history of my time as a NASCAR fan than this year. Like, there's so many super closes. Y'all don't pay attention to the action on the track. The commercials, like I understand that you're on the big network, you're on Big Fox, but come on, dog. 5 laps to go on the stage. It's at the end of the race, and we begging you to keep the race on. And you go side by side for what? For Geico? For Taco Bell Cantina? I don't care. They're not in the
Also as mid. Also as mid.
Bro, like this is outrageous. Like I'm almost at the point where I have to like look at the schedule and just force myself to buy tickets and drive because I am so tired of watching the broadcast on television. It's like we alluded to early in the show. NASCAR, if this is your way of getting us in the fans in the stands, I don't like it, but it's working. But your TV ratings are going to drop. So you got to pick and choose one, homeboy. You got to pick a struggle, NASCAR. This is completely unacceptable. I'm really excited for NBC to come. I'm really tired of Clint Boyer blaming everything on Bubba every time there's an incident on the track. Kevin Harvick, I really need you to be the only voice in the booth because Mike Joy getting on my nerves too.
Yeah,
y'all gotta cut this out, man. Like you're literally gonna lose your fan base within the next 6 weeks if you keep this behavior up.
Bring back America's crew chief and put Larry Mack back in the booth and give Boyer a pre or post race role or something like what Rutledge.
Him and Michael Waltrip can go dance around pit road together.
Yeah, man.
I've been saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, bro, Michael. Every time I watch a truck broadcast, because I'll be back in Kansas in a couple of weeks, Michael Waltrip somehow has to find a way to be like, "We sure love our truckers, bro." Shut up. Anyway, that's just you just inventing words, man. But for real, like they need to have some kind of a production meeting or something because the chemistry in the booth is Kevin Harvick is trying in very real time to like give great insight, X, Y, and Z. Mike Joy is a numbers guy. He's a history guy. He's trying to like carry the line for Fox. Totally get it. But what is Clint Boyer doing? You know what I mean? Because it always it's like that old Kanye West video where it's like if you can talk about the product, then you can sell the product. I love that. I love Lady Gaga music. What the does she know about cameras? And it's like, you know, what does Clint Boyer know about commentating, man?
Oh God.
Because it's just, yeah, it's you know, but for real, because what keeps happening is, you know, it's every time there's like a lull in the action, there is Clint Boyer, like, you know, Kevin Harvick's like, you know, yeah, you know, Kyle Larson's really running that high line, and Clint Boyer immediately is like, yeah, if I rode that high line in my day, I would have hit the wall. Ha ha. And Kevin's just silent for like a minute. He's like, yeah, you would have. It's like, come on, bro. The self-appreciation was funny, like, for a little bit, but bro, we're done and over with now. You know what I mean? Like
How many weeks do you think before like Clint just swings off on Carl? I'm sorry, on Kevin. One of these.
Well,
because like I feel like these jokes get a little stiff.
I mean, obviously Clint knows Kevin a long time because they've been teammates for both teams. So
look, yeah, you can know me for a long time, but you can't keep saying I was ass at my career every week for a while. After a while, it's like, all right, bro, chill out.
But Clint offers it up though. That's the thing. I think Kevin's legitimately annoyed that like he's trying to talk about racing, and Clint's just like, you know, yeah, I finished 17th there, and that was a good day. So these guys out here today, and it's just like, all right, bro, if you're gonna throw it down the center, I'm gonna hit out of the park every time. So you got to make a decision there, buddy. So you know,
So,
I'm
gonna ask y'all a question. I want to see if you agree, or see if you say the answer I'm thinking of. On this show, who's Mike Joy? Who's Clint Boyer?
Hell.
Who's Kevin Harvick?
I swear to God, if someone call me Clint Boyer, I'm fighting Jared. I'm fighting Carl, especially Art.
You get no hands.
I could just know. Right. I feel it.
Monte, I mean, Tyson and Paul fighting in another month or so. There's enough time. We can show them title cards.
Shut up.
We can be the fight to lead into that.
Shut up.
You know, I'm gonna say actually I'm gonna break the rules. I'm gonna say Danny's our Mike Joy. She's the most organized.
Yeah.
Like she tries to keep the trains on schedule.
Yeah.
So Danny, shout out to you. I would say her. Then I would say I'm gonna say I'm Kevin Harvick because I gotta be someone in this equation. I'm gonna save myself, and I'm gonna say. Do I have to pick one out of Carl and Monte?
Oh my
share
God,
the title?
dude.
Okay.
No way.
They can they can Steve McNair, Peyton Manning co-MVP that title. They got it. Y'all got it. Okay. That's not an insult though.
Okay.
Y'all.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Don't let that shit happen to me though.
Sorry, it's been a long show. Before we ride off into the sunset, Dover predictions.
You know, Ford hadn't won yet this year.
Nope.
In anything.
Anything.
And I'm gonna tell you this: that streak continues this week. It won't be a Ford. I don't know, man. Hell, Ty Gibbs wins at Dover. There you go.
Oh.
Ooh, I like it.
Well, I mean, I think he's won the Xfinity Series. Maybe not. You know, he's won everywhere else. Hell, and you know, this intermediate package, the cars race good there. You know, Gibbs pretty strong. You know, I could see him or Denny Hamlin winning. You know what? I'm gonna revert that back. Denny Hamlin makes it 3 wins on the year, and he wins at Dover. So anybody but Hendrick, man. I don't want to. I'm tired of it.
He ain't wrong.
You know who due for one at Dover. At 48.
Your boy.
No,
I would love. Hey, you know what?
That's happening.
If Bowman wins, I'd be the happiest I could be. Yeah, he needs it. I need it. The streets need it. You know,
the streets do not need it. Don't do that. Maybe your streets, but not over here.
The streets need an Alex Bowman win. The streets need a charismatic, a non-charismatic, sarcastic, just like low profile, like funny Pete Davidson dude. Pete Davidson look like to win. I mean, because it's just like
wow.
I mean, because it's just like the other 3 drivers look like NASCAR Heat 5 created characters, man. They act like it too. So it's just like,
all right.
You know,
right.
I'm over it. Anyway.
I will go. I'm gonna go Chastain. He ran P2 there last year. I feel like I remember seeing that somewhere. So Trackhouse has been a little quiet since Atlanta. Like Sora's got that great win, but I'm gonna say they make a little noise. I feel like that's what they're good for. Like Trackhouse, the last 2 years, I feel like they go through these long lulls, and all of a sudden they pop out with a win. I think like at Nashville or something, like they had a random win out of nowhere. So I'm gonna say Chastain gets it done.
Bonte. Is it bell pepper season, or are you picking somebody else?
Picking. Ooh, look at that. You made a pun you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
No, because it involved Christopher Bell.
Oh, sorry.
2.5 hours.
Oh, full I kind of hope Kyle. I kind of hope Kyle Busch gets it done, man. It's been a while since he won over.
That's what the streets need.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
He stole mine.
I need my goat. I need my goat to get this dub.
How many goats you got? You a farmer?
Could you shut the hell up? No, I'm playing. No, I'll always love Kyle Busch. That's the go right there. But I want him to win so he can continue his winning streak. So 1 year, 1 win a year since 2005. But yeah, that's why I got him.
Keanu.
And I fuck a car.
Yeah, I want Kyle to win just because, and I feel bad for him. Again, that's just, it's very obvious he's frustrated, and I hate that. So I would like to see him win if it's not Bubba, but I feel like Bubba is hungry enough that he may be able to pull something out, but we'll see. I'm interested to see how this car does there.
I think I am actually going to genuinely pick Alex Bowman. We'll see what happens.
I think that's a good pick, though.
If a Kendrick car wins, I'd rather be him. So I need to make sure I adjust my fantasy lineup. Speaking of fantasy lineups, I won this week. I had Ty Gilliland, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Logano, and Chase Elliott. So I win again. And we move to Dover. Well, with that, ladies and germs, if there's nothing else, we'll catch y'all on the flippity flip.
Remember that scene from The Office where he's like, "I see y'all on the flippity flip," and he can't hit the shot.
Flip.
Yeah, he's just if he on the flippity flip like for an hour, he's just shooting the ball at the hoop and doesn't make it.
Yeah, I had to call that back from last week.
Oh yeah. Anyway, all right, we'll see y'all later.